It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Okay, my friends, thanks for joining us again. Listen, we're going to give you an education today about hemp. Yes, it's good for you. We're going to learn all about hemp, and we have the professionals here today. And we're on the farm. We're at Sugarloaf Organics right here, and we're going to talk about all of this stuff that is good for your health. Grady and John Wolk, his family, invested a lot of money in producing these wonderful plants. I know there's a lot of misinterpretations about hemp. So let me get to you, John. Okay, why did you, first of all, you and your family have a great investment here? And I know you're concerned about the public. I know you're concerned about health. Tell me about this place.
Well, in 2018, the Farm Bill came out, and we decided we were going to try it. So as we learned more and more, hemp, which we convert into the CBD products that we have, helps for a whole variety. And Grady can touch base on all the attributes that it helps for the human body.
What is the difference between what you have here versus what's on the market?
That's our biggest question when we're talking to customers. And the biggest difference between the plants you see here on our farm and the plants you might see at a medical marijuana dispensary is really the difference between THC and CBD. These plants here at the seed level were bred to have high levels of CBD. CBD is special because it has components that doesn't get you high, but it has the other attributes that are good for you, like for inflammation control, for pain relief and mood and things like that. Whereas THC also has those, but they'll give you that high effect that most people are familiar with when they think of cannabis or marijuana.
So there's a big difference, isn't there?
Yes. Yes.
And the difference is in quality?
Yep, quality is another huge factor that separates our farm here from a lot of other CBD products. As you can see here, we're hand growing all of our products. In our next stages, we're going to cut these all by hand as well. We're going to cure them, and then we're going to process them in our lab located here on our farm, and we're going to turn them into the products that our customers rely on a monthly basis.
Now behind us, John, we have some of these plants. So basically, what stage are they?
These are almost ready to be harvested. So these are forbidden seedless. We tried this variety several years ago. We did a couple things different this year. We did a little more testing. We tested the bud when it first came out, the leaf, and the soil. So we knew what the plant target for nutrient level. We do everything on an organic level, so it's pretty hard. So we knew every 2 weeks to adjust the fertilization, whatever this plant needs, phosphorus. There's a whole numerous list of nutrients that this plant needs to get it to this point. And as you could see, they're pretty big. This year is our biggest crop that we had. Most of these are 6 to 8 feet.
Why is that?
Just because of the nutrient plan and the testing that we did. So we invested a little more in testing as the season went. Usually we did it about every 6 weeks. This year we did it every 2 weeks. So we got a really good product here. Great plant, smells great. I wish your viewers could actually come and smell it.
Yeah.
It smells really good.
I see other things that are chopped around here, and we'll show you on the camera. What are these?
Okay, we have 3 different varieties here. So there's an early harvest, a mid-harvest, and a late. The reason we do that is so we don't have 8,000 plants all at once trying to harvest, cure, and dry. It's just a lot because you need a lot of space to do all this. So this was our first batch. So there's 2,000 plants. They'll be ready to come indoors. We dry them outside for a couple days, get probably at least 50 to 70% of the moisture out of them. Then we'll finish curing them inside, and then we have to buck them. Bucking means all the buds that are on this plant get stripped off. So all your good CBD is in the bud itself, which you see right here, not so much in the leaf. There's very little CBD and cannabinoids in that leaf. Most people don't realize that, but here's where all your product comes out of, right here. And it is an oil. And right now, they're very sticky. So my hands, I just touched them lightly. My hands are sticky, and I got a great smell on them, too.
How do you know the value and what it does for the individual person?
So we're familiar with the effects of CBD, and we also have CBG plants here as well, which is just another cannabinoid. We liken it to taking like an Advil and a Tylenol. They each have different components, but together you kind of take the best components and your body will adjust and use those together in the best way it sees fit. And we know they're strong because we test rigorously. There's 3 tests that go on here in the field, and there's 3 more tests that go on in the lab once it becomes an oil. So when the content is strong and it's a pure oil, meaning there's nothing else in the oil that doesn't need to be there, we know that the customer is going to realize those effects just because of its purity and potency in that oil.
And that's the point. When you're talking about, John, you're talking about purity and potency, okay, and the quality of the plant. And I think that's what you stress the most here, right?
Yes, correct. So when Gretti's processing in the lab, the first step is to extract all the oil. And we use minus 40 ethanol. Gretti can touch base on that. And the first step is it looks like crude. Crude looks like tar. Now, a lot of the CBD products out there are made with crude. Why? It's cheaper and has a really bad taste. So some clients have said, oh, I tried CBD and I don't like the taste. And that's probably because that product was made with crude. There's a lot of chlorophylls, etc., still in that they don't extract.
So don't judge what you have versus what's out there.
That's correct.
Because some people say, I tried it and it sucks, it's this, etc. There's a big difference.
There's a
Am
huge
I
difference.
correct in saying that?
That is
yes,
correct.
Absolutely.
And why the big difference is that once again is why?
Let our lab director explain that because he does it all the time.
Yeah, so in this new CBD industry, you really want a product that's focusing on the purity. You need to have a concentrated level of that oil to realize those effects. If you have too little milligrams in there, your body is not going to fully absorb all of that CBD oil. Therefore, you need a large amount, a specific amount that's going to get into your bloodstream so your body can accept the oil and realize those effects. So it's really important to look at that label, to know where it comes from, to really get a sense of, does this CBD work for me?
I know your family a long time, great family, hardworking family. You have so much on your plate with your business, okay? Why did you decide to go into this business or the farm hemp?
Well, my whole family, we quite frankly like to help people. This product helps people with numerous pain, anxiety, sleep disorders. It's phenomenal. So we really wanted to help the community and people across the country through all those. I know a lot of people have pain. I'm sure Dr. Sacco can vouch for that. So we take that product and we double distill it. So first it looks like crude, which looks like tar, and then our products, we distill it again. So that product looks like honey. And that's what we send to a pharmaceutical lab. So our products are pharmaceutical grade. They're processed in a clean room. They have child resistant caps. They're heat sealed, all the high standards. So pharmaceutical grade product.
And that's what I admire about your family. That my friends, you know, if you know the Wolk family, they would never ever produce anything that would not help you. And I applaud you and your family for what you've done. And there is a major difference in quality.
Absolutely.
And I think that's important. And that's why you have people like Dr. Sacco, Dr. Augustine, and Dr. Mead, and a lot of doctors who will support you in what you're doing. And I think that's important. That's why I think we have to look at hemp a different way. And it's Sugarloaf Organics. The phone number's on the screen. So why should I decide to use Sugarloaf Organics?
I think the big reason is someone in our area here, in the northeastern PA area, they want to look for products that are grown naturally. They're grown, you know, somewhere they can come visit. They can see how it's made. We're doing, you know, shows with like you here today. Most people aren't going to take you in and show you exactly how the product is made. And for a product like CBD products and creams and pain creams like that, that is the most important part. We want people to know that they work, they're made naturally, and they're really made with the customer's health in mind.
And talking about working, we're going to have Dr. Sacco and Dr. Augustine on, and they'll tell you how much it's working for their patients. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. We're on location, Sugarloaf Organics. We're talking about hemp. But before we go into that and talk to these wonderful doctors, I want to thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. That's taken from our scientific poll, Susquehanna Polling and Research. I appreciate that very much. And also, all of our other shows that are #1 in their time slot, including this show with this guy right here and this guy right here, Sacco Chiropractic, we appreciate that very much. Now, Scott and my friend Dr. Augustine, we're talking about hemp, okay? Now, tell me about, how you value this in your practice.
So one thing that the guys touched on, which we kind of said before we came on a show, you guys talk about the plants, how you grow it, how you do it. We'll talk about how we use it. I mean, you look at plants like this and you see, we walk through their facilities, we see how it's harvested, we see how it's done, we know where it's coming from. So we know we're not getting a product where we're not sure what kind of harsh chemicals do they use, what kind of different stuff are they fertilizing with, all that stuff that we're worried about our patients putting in their body, because some of our patients have a lot of problems. They're not just in pain, they might be going through different treatments and different things, and getting an all-natural product that helps alleviate their pain is something that some of our patients might be on 13, 14 different drugs that they're taking. So we don't want to be giving them another drug to be taking. So this is something that's all natural, and the big thing is it works. It really does work for our patients. So we use it every day in our office. If somebody comes in and they throw their back out, one of the first things we do is after we work on them, we will actually put the cream right on them.
Wow. Yeah.
We'll put the cream right. We have a big jug in the office that we use. I mean, we use it daily, multiple times.
Yeah. Now, Dr. Augustine, when we're talking about, the first time you were introduced to this, what were your thoughts as a medical or as a chiropractor?
The first thing that basically when we used it, we actually did it on the show here with my elbow. That was when I was first introduced to it. It's quality. It's grade A. That is one of the biggest things that we look for our patients. We want the top notch for our patients. And the big thing back to the facility and how it's grown, how it's made, it's honest. And that's how we run our practice as well. It's honesty. We're not gonna, like Dr. Scott said, we're not gonna put anything that we haven't tried ourselves into a patient's hand. And the one thing that I really like about it too is that you can use this with anything. If they're on 13 or 14 different medications, if they're having severe pain, arthritis, swelling, any type of problem that they have, this can go on it, and it's a class A, grade A product.
In doing that, the fact that you're here today in the field, what you see the plants behind us, tells me something about the quality of the product, okay? You believe in the product.
Yes, I've toured a lot of facilities.
Yeah.
So when I was actually in school, I won a scholarship when I was in school. I was flown to Wisconsin to see an organic plant that was out there, and they do all kinds of supplements. That company's been around for 100 years. That facility here is just as clean as that facility was there. That was one thing, was the cleanliness inside the facility, the equipment that they use. I know that it's something that they've only been doing for a couple years, and they're advancing the plants every year. Last year when we were here, I mean, these plants were no taller than you. This year they're about as tall as me. So, right? So, but it's really the quality. We know where it comes from. We know what it does. We switched actually this year. Yeah. Back in the past, we would use the all CBD product. This year, we switched to the CBD and CBG, and I'll touch on what Gretty said, and this is how we explain it to our patients, because you could get into the chemical properties and what it does and go through a biology book and explain it, but this would be, if let's say you have knee pain, this would be like taking one Tylenol and one Advil or an Aleve, two different products. Your body may need a little bit from the Tylenol, but a little bit from the Aleve, and it takes what it needs and it gets rid of the rest. That's how this works. So that's why a lot of our patients have been saying, wow, this new product really helps a lot. This is something, I had 3 knee surgeries from football. I put this on my knee, I put it on once, I don't need it again for 3 days. Wow. It's not something that you can use it as much as you want. We tell patients if somebody is in acute pain, you can put it on as much as you want throughout the day, but it's something that lasts and you may not need it as much, and that's what I really like about it. It's not something that you need to lather yourself up in. It's something that's going to work right from the start.
Now, Dr. Augustine, there's different products here, right? And we're going to talk about the different products that are available. So there's different ailments or whatever you have. You've been using the cream as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep, absolutely. The cream is I use it all the time too. The one thing that I do like about it is the spreadability and how it sinks in really, really fast. You don't get that oily, greasy, like from basically like Biofreeze or Tiger Balm. It doesn't stain your clothes. It doesn't do that, and it goes right to work. But it also has a long-lasting effect, which is something that I love to tell patients, that this isn't just going to be your hour or 2 hour cream that all of a sudden it's hot, then it's cold, and then it's done. This works for about 4 to 6 hours with patients, and they love it. They absolutely love it. You can use ice on top of it. It still does its components of what it's supposed to do when it sinks into the body, which is fantastic.
The mere fact that you guys are here with John and Grady, it's amazing, because I always like testimonials, but coming to the fact that you believe in what it is and the practice that you've had, which is phenomenal. I always say, Scott and Dr. Augustine, is you guys are ahead of your time, really. I mean, with the things that you have in your office, and I've been around a little bit, okay, is amazing, But the thing is that you're dedicated to it, just like John Wolk and his family. They're dedicated to what they're doing, and I think that's very important. Wouldn't you think so?
Well, I tell people, even if you don't use it, we're using it. I mean, if that's not trust, anything that we have in our office, anything that you come in, we personally use it. We don't just sell stuff to sell stuff. If we don't use it and it doesn't have our stamp of approval, we wouldn't be here if we did.
Okay, now we're going to talk about the product. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. We're here at Sugarloaf Organics in a beautiful field. Right behind me, it's hemp. It's good stuff. Now, Dr. Sacco is here, and Grady here is the marketing man for Sugarloaf Organics. So first of all, we're talking about product, okay? You're holding something in your hand, and we're going to show you all the product they have, and the phone number is on the screen how to get it. Tell me about this.
Yeah, so this is our main product that we work with Dr. Sacco and his team on. We have about 26 other products, but by far this is our most popular. This is our Revive Pain Cream formula with 500 milligrams of CBD and 500 milligrams of CBG. And this is a really special product because it also combines components like magnesium and menthol. It really creates a powerful result for patients, and like Dr. Sacco said, it's relied upon every month and every day in his office. So we really think we have a special product here, but we have other options for patients as well who not only want cream, but they may want something like oils to take, or we have teas, we have gummies. So we want to touch base on all the routes of administration to meet our customers' needs.
What different spectrums are we talking about?
Yeah, so an important aspect of CBD products and CBG products and things of those natures is there's this little phrase called full spectrum. You might hear broad spectrum, or you might hear an isolate. The difference between those is really the profile of the CBD you're getting. Our products are mainly full spectrum, and what that means is we combine CBD, but there's also elements of CBG. There's elements of tiny legal amounts of THC, just enough so your body gets a little bit of a mix of everything. And the main question when we say there's trace amounts of THC is this ever going to come up on a drug test or things like that? So when you're taking creams, a small amount of THC will never show up on a drug test. It's only there just to aid along in the combination of all the other cannabinoids. When you take something like an oil, you have to be careful when you're looking at full spectrum. That may build up in your system, so which is why we offer a broad spectrum. So instead of a full spectrum, we have a broad spectrum, which contains 0 THC. So we have things like sleeping capsules, gummy bears, and things like that for our patients who they may get drug tested for work, like a truck driver or a pilot or things like that, where no trace amounts of THC can be in your body. So we offer those as well. And like I said, though, the cream, we really don't worry about things like that because it's applied topically.
Now he brings up the trace amount of THC that's in the cream. And the reason why he has to say that is because it's like 0.03.
Yep.
Am I correct?
Yep, that's the legal.
It is such a small amount that would never come up on anything. So I tell my patients, because we have a lot of patients that work in the plants and the factories,
Sure.
and they might be getting drug tested. First off, it's in a cream. Your skin's not going to absorb that THC, so it can't get in there. And even if it did, it's such a small amount that comes off of these plants, it's nothing to even worry about.
All right, so here's the thing. When someone comes into your office, Dr. Augustine, your office, or the office you have in Mountaintop, each person have different needs.
Yes.
Okay, so maybe the cream is good for me, but he mentioned a lot of products. How do you know what products you should be going to? Because I don't want to get, you know, what are some of the ailments? What are some of the things that these can help with?
So something that you're going to digest, whether it's the gummy or the tinctures, which I have used myself personally, the cream and the tincture, that's the one that you would put under your tongue and hold it there for about 30 seconds and then swallow it. When you're digesting something, you're looking for something systemic. So maybe you have somebody with psoriatic arthritis. Maybe you have somebody with fibromyalgia. Maybe you have, you know, multiple areas of arthritis where you might say, well, yeah, my knee hurts today, then it's my shoulder, then it's my elbow. That is, you know, more of a systemic. You might have an anti-inflammatory problem where you want to digest it and get that into your system, and then it's going to cover all of your bases. Versus, you know, I had the knee surgery from football. It's always my right knee that bugs me. When that's getting sore midway through the day, I get some cream, put that on. It's a spot treatment. My low back hurts, and that's the only spot that's bugging me is my low back. That's a spot treatment. So that's when you're going to want to go for the cream. When you have multiple areas, that's when you want to do the tincture. I personally was using the tincture for sleep. One thing that I used to take melatonin a lot years ago, and I never liked how first off, you needed it to go to sleep. You would be groggy the next morning when you would take it. So John actually suggested to me, why don't you try the tincture? So I started trying the tincture, and I slept like a baby. I'd wake up energized in the morning. I felt better. That helps with stress, anxiety, depression. Again, it's a systemic approach.
And you've recommended this to your patients already, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
their results has been exactly what you're saying. They're happy with it?
Yep. I personally stopped taking it because we had the baby.
Yeah.
And if I don't get up and help Lauren in the middle of the night,
You're in trouble.
I have more problems than that.
Okay, listen, we're here at Sugarloaf Organics, my friends. We're here. We're telling you all about it. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll see you next time.